The gist of Plato's Euthyphro is questioning what's good, what's bad, what's pious, what's impious. Okay, so it starts out by Euthyphro coming to Socrates and asking, hey, I need to prosecute my dad. My dad's killed someone. Socrates goes, whoa, your dad? Really? And Euthyphro's like, yes, no matter if it's my dad or a stranger, he needs to be prosecuted. So Socrates, puts his little thinking cap on and goes, interesting. Okay, tell me why is that? Why does it matter if it's your father or if it's a stranger? It's the same thing. Why do you think this is the pious and the just thing to do? And Euthyphro goes, well, because Zeus, this is what Zeus did. And, most people look at Zeus and they'll praise him, but they won't be like him. And, I'm going to be like Zeus and I'm prosecuting my father because that's the right thing to do. And Socrates goes, okay, so you're doing this because it's pious and it's the right thing to do. Okay, could you, because you are so wise, like this is incredible that you're so wise that you have the knowledge to do this and to stand up for this. So please tell me, impart some of your wisdom on me, and please let me know what's pious and what's not pious, what's impiety. Please explain. And this conversation goes on. That's the most of the book, is this back and forth between Socrates throwing out, he's trying to have a dialectic with him and try and figure out, okay, well, what's the point he's trying to make? And then Socrates is like, well, that's actually illogical because what you've just said is right. He's like pulling him up and he's being a bit cheeky with it. And Socrates is basically like, okay, well, you really look up to the gods, right? Do the gods ever fight? Do the gods ever disagree? And Euthyphro goes, well, yeah, they disagree sometimes, of course. And Socrates is like, okay, but you're saying that everything that is pious, it's because the gods have deemed so. The gods like it. The gods think it's good. So it must be pious. And we're like, well, hold on. If the gods are arguing with each other, that means that they don't agree. If they don't agree on those things, then how do you know they all agree on what pious is? And he's starting to throw some stuff out there, and Euthyphro's not really getting it. He's stuck in his little bubble and doesn't want to admit that maybe his way of thinking is lower-minded. So basically, my takeaway from the book is we look up to other people, generally, most of us. Now, back in the old days, it was very common. You would look up to a god, would create a god. Now, today's society is not as religious, but we have created a religion out of social media. And there's influencers with millions of followers. There's celebrities. There's billionaires. There's actors. There are so many people that we only see an outside perception, and it's like a round shiny ball. We only see the outside of what's going on. We don't actually know the full story, because behind the scenes, just like the gods were fighting behind the scenes, just like all the celebrities and all the influencers and all the famous people. They all have their own shit going on behind the scenes, but no one just talks about it, because it's a lot easier to just talk about the really good stuff and the fancy stuff and, the stuff that makes us feel good. And then we project onto that and we go, well, they're amazing, right? And basically what we're saying when we say that is, I'm not as worthy as them. What are they doing? I want to be like them. And we generalize and say, well, that's what good people do. That's what famous people do. That's what pretty people do. They wear makeup and they wear these sorts of clothes and they say these sort of things. And we're putting ourselves in a little box. Now, society likes that, because the more people conform, the less they have to govern things, and the more you're going to be dumb, you're going to play into their rules, and they can control you, basically. So let's get all these people dumb. Let's get them to believe that this is what they need to do and this is what they can't do. This is what's good. This is what's pious, right? Pious just basically means that's what's good. This is what's pious. Okay, do this. So Socrates is coming in and being like, well, why do you think that? Okay, and he's trying to unpack it. He's trying to investigate it. And Euthyphrōn is saying, well, it's good because they're good and I look up to them. And just like in today's society, Socrates breaks it down. He says, well, just like all the gods are different, all the gods think unique, separate, individual things about what's good and what's bad. So everyone has a different opinion on what's good and what's bad. So basically, why do you think that it's more good to prosecute your father? Why do you think? And then Euthyphro basically, well, because he did something bad, right? He committed murder, and it doesn't matter the context. It doesn't matter why. It's just he murdered someone, and that's how it is. He's very stuck and he's rigid in his mind, and he can really feel it in the text that Socrates is genuinely curious. He's not saying, yeah, murder him, prosecute him, don't prosecute. He's just genuinely curious, and he wants to say, okay, well, how can we evolve? How can we get better? So the book is really up to interpretation. It doesn't really leave you with anything. It basically cuts off right at the end because Euthyphrōn feels like he's about to get caught out. So Euthyphrōn just fucking yeets out of there. That's my interpretation is, there is no good, there is no bad. We each think certain things are bad. We each think certain things are good. It's all up to our own perception, our own interpretation, our own experiences. And the more we can open our mind and not pedestal gods or pedestal other people and really bring it back down to the level and go, okay, well, why do I think that's so good? Why do I think that's bad? Okay. And just play out those scenarios. So if you enjoyed this, check out some of my other content. I'll break down in more detail our values, why and how we all see the world very differently, and how you can transcend above these moral hypocrisies and these what's good and what's bad, transcend above the cause and effect, the good and the bad, the right and the wrong. And I'll see you next time.